Okay, guys, welcome to the Dan Bidondi show, and we're heading into the June of 2018 and closing out in the month of May. And we got the governor's race here in Rhode Island heating up. We got three good candidates running against a tyrant named Gina Raimondo, who's our governor here in the state of Rhode Island, our governor and commander in Nazism. I don't know that's being nice, okay? But we got Governor, soon-to-be Governor, hopefully, Joseph Trillo. He's going to be calling in that the second half of the show here at 9:30. And about 5 minutes from now, we're going to be joined with gun rights leader advocate and also head of the Republican committee on that stuff. I forgot exactly his title, but David Kopacz. He's going to be joining us to tell you about what is going on in Massachusetts. Same thing is going on here in Rhode Island. They have literally declared war on the Second Amendment. They rammed through the red flag policy both here in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Red flag policy is basically their way through the back door to say, hey, we think you're unsafe to have a gun, we're coming to get it. And it's calls for confiscation and everything else, and it literally is confiscation. Because when you call it how you see it, it really is confiscation, because they can say, all right, he's not fit for a gun, we're coming to your house and taking him. That's confiscation. And then you have to go through the courts to prove otherwise. So that's total draconian, folks. And so we're going to be joined by Dave Kopacz pretty soon, and I'm trying to get a headset over here. I just ran in the studio late today, just running around here because I'm trying to book guests and everything else, and headphones are all mixed up over here. Hey guys, you got a set of headphones? It's all mixed up over here. Sorry about that. But yeah, we got a lot of gun news to talk about, and it's really crazy what's going on here in Rhode Island and Massachusetts alike. I mean, both neighboring states are suffering the same dictatorship oppression, mainly attacking the Second Amendment, mainly attacking our individual rights. I mean, this is insane, folks. Never have I thought in my life that I would have to be one of the guys on the front line to be defending our civil liberties. And this is nothing to do with Republican and versus, I mean, you know what I mean, because they like to put it right versus left. This has nothing to do with the right or the left. This is to do with civil liberties. And unfortunately, it is the right and the left that are going back and forth at it. And this is really insane, folks. And people, we need to step up here in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and we need to vote these people out in November. It's the only way we're going to beat them. We had thousands of people that flooded the State House to say no to the red flag policy. They present and they pass the House, so it goes to the Senate. Thousands of people again flood the State House, all in these yellow shirts here, to say we don't want this. Okay, we do not want this. And the Senate, 33-1, decides to vote in this draconian red flag policy. And we're going to get into discussion with red flag policy when Dave Kopacz comes on, because it's very similar, thank you, to the one in Rhode Island here. And it's total draconian, folks. It really is. And draconian is an understatement. It's a total understatement what that word means, because it's totally dictatorship. And what they could do, and they want to ban the bump stocks too. That got passed as well. The thing is, me personally, I never used a bump stock. Probably never wanted to use a bump stock. But just because they said I can't have one, guess what? I'm going to go buy one, maybe 2 or 3, and hand them out. And if they're cheap enough, I'd buy 100 of them and hand them out to everybody. So don't tell me what I can and cannot own. That's my Second Amendment to do what I want. I don't care what kind of law you have. It is law-abiding citizens' duty to not obey draconian laws. Any law that's repugnant to the Constitution, it is our duty and responsibility as American citizens to make sure those laws do not comply. Plain and simple. We do not comply to those laws. And people say, well, you're not being law-abiding now. No. They're the ones who are the criminals. When you push something that's unconstitutional, those lawmakers thus become the criminals. We, the people, thus become the law enforcers. Okay, that's the way the Constitution was designed, the Founding Fathers, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And so the lawmakers who push these draconian laws, they're not lawmakers no more. They're criminals. And they need to go in November. And we hope to get something like Joseph Trillo in and to overthrow this governor's I don't even know what to call it. I mean, reign or her queenship or whatever you want to call it. I mean, she's done so much horrible, bad things to the state of Rhode Island, attacking civil liberties, attacking our economy, pushing these tolls that nobody wanted. We're going to get into that with Mr. Trillo. And when Dave Kopacz comes on, we got a lot to talk about, because the same things are going on in Massachusetts that are going on in here too. And right now, Rhode Island still got better laws, considering gun laws here in Rhode Island, than Massachusetts. But they're coming here too. They've been for years pumping millions of dollars into the system to try to take our gun rights away, to ban the semi-automatics, to ban AR-15s, and they are non-stop around the clock, folks. Being funded by people like the Soros, George Soros, Bill Gates, which is the vaccines, what I mean, Michael Bloomberg, and all these people constantly trying to fund anti-gun movements with the Mothers Demand Action. So, I mean, and right here, Providence Journal reports, Rhode Island Senate overwhelmingly okays red flag policy and bump stock ban. 33-1. 33-1, after thousands of people flooded the State House to say, we don't want this. I testify myself. The testimony went viral. It was great. Over 100,000 people seen it. And but the thing is, you got the only person, Republican Senator Elaine Morgan of Hopkinton, Rhode Island. She was the only one that voted against us. But speaking of red flag policy and everything, right here in Massachusetts as well, a neighboring state, and our guest, David Kopacz, and he's a leader of the Second Amendment coalition there and all that in the state of Massachusetts. And he's a talk show host. How you doing, Dave?
How are you doing, Dan? Thanks for having me on the show again.
Oh, it's a pleasure, brother. And I know I had you on a lot of times because you're a kick-ass activist. I mean, you do a lot of stuff in Massachusetts, and you're leading the fight for liberty, man. And so tell us what is going on. What is going on in the state of Massachusetts right now?
Boy, I tell you, the same thing has been going on in the Commonwealth for a long time. Is a lot of people are sitting on their hands while progressives from the political left and the political right continue taking bites out of the apple. And not just the Second Amendment, but we've had two setbacks here in Massachusetts just recently. One is, these red flag laws. We're in a situation now where an arbitrary complaint can be made by someone who is just your political adversary, someone who just doesn't like who you are and what you stand for, can make a complaint. Police are mandated to respond. They go to the courts. The courts issue an order to essentially steal people's property, that being their firearms. They go right to the door and demand all firearms, ammunition, licenses, and this is all without due process. So, it's coming full circle. We've accepted licenses. They registered, and now we know what happens after registration is confiscation, and we're seeing it. Now, if you think back, in 1773 and 1774, they tried the same thing, and when they marched on us here to take our guns, they literally lined up in the streets, marched on us, and began killing people. And, of course, we started killing them right back, and we know this period is the revolution in 1776. So we're heading towards that now. The only difference is we're an entertainment-based society. People's heads have been softened by public schools. They're what they feel the role of government is. This nanny state, there's no part of our life that government wouldn't be happy to manage. And they've so horribly messed things up right now, they got to get the guns out of our hands. They definitely don't want an angry nation who is well armed once we realize just how badly they screwed things up financially and in a number of different ways. We're in a lot of trouble, and getting the guns out of our hands seems to be what they're fixated on. Everyone should be nervous. But yeah, we got the a situation here where they can basically kick the door in, take the guns, and due process is an afterthought.
Yeah, and just as yours went through, our red flag policy went through too. And I was saying at the beginning of the show that even though thousands showed up to the State House to say no in the finance, the House, whatever, they passed it through. Then it went to the Senate, and thousands more of us show up. And guess what? They voted in 33-1 it was only one senator, Senator Elaine Morgan, who's the only one that had the guts to stand for what the people wanted. Even the liberal polls here in Rhode Island, on the Providence Journal and Congressman gun grabbing David Cicilline, his own poll showed that Rhode Island does not want no more strict gun control laws. You know what I mean? And even Democrats, a good 80% or better, don't want no more of these gun control laws, and because people are waking up. And so I think, you know, I mean, is it the same way in Massachusetts? You got overwhelming support for the Second Amendment, and they still push this through anyway?
Yeah, well, you know, when you talk to the average Joe on the street, they do appreciate the right to keep and bear arms. Many of them have been lulled into talking about, you know, what is an assault weapon, for example, things of that nature. But, you know, they're trained to be speaking in their terms. You know, the extremists on their end want us completely disarmed. And they don't care how they do it, whether it's all at once or one bite at a time. But the end point is for only those that are government and surrogates of force for the government are the only ones that will have weapons. That's the end point for them. For us, you know, what's the extreme? The extreme is basically to follow the Constitution. So, you know, what I've been telling people is, you know, men in fancy suits can raise their hands and take votes, publish these votes, put these words of wisdom on the news and repeat it ad infinitum. But the tires don't meet the road until enforcement comes in. How are they going to enforce on a nation of people who say no? Because here's the extreme on our side, the constitutional extreme, is that gun control policy and regulation in the borders of the United States of America is unlawful. It's illegal. All right, the Supremacy Clause strikes it with null right up front. The Second Amendment is one sentence. Granted, it's a compound, complex sentence, but you know what? We're capable of understanding that the militia is necessary to the security of the free state.
Exactly.
And to that end, we the people shall not be infringed upon when it comes to our rights. Infringe means the tip of their toe shall not tread upon our right to defend ourselves and against personally or against the tyrannical government, which was really what the founders forecast for us.
Exactly. And correct me if I'm wrong, but James Madison, because I know you got a lot of people out there who think the militia is the National Guard, but James Madison and George Washington all said that the militia were the people. And is that correct?
Well, absolutely. You know, and they still are. It's just a matter of whether they're delinquent in their trainings or not. And most people aren't.
Exactly. But if you want to hold right there, brother, we got to go to a break. And you'll listen to the Dan Bidondi Show on 990 WBOB. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We got a lot of news to cover here. We're probably not going to get through half of it, but headlines to stop school shootings, use Israel's approach to fighting terror attacks, terror school attacks there, Texas Attorney General says, and we're going to get Dave's comment on that. Basically, in 1974, Israel instituted a policy that every school staff, teacher, and such was to be well-trained and have a firearm. And ever since then, they only had 2 school shootings, and both times the school shooters were stopped dead cold in their tracks by armed teachers. So, your comments, Dave Kopacz.
I think that's a wonderful idea. But we have created, or allowed to have been created, a situation right now which is it's ripe for what we're seeing. These mass shootings, it's not the gun. You know, these kids are coming from broken families, MIA dads. But what happens in the school, to stay on topic here, is you think about when you have a fire drill at the school right now, and they've been doing this since I was a child, and they're still doing it, is when those kids hear that alarm, like Pavlov's dog, they're trained to just jump up and quickly, but not run, not push and shove, but as quickly as you can, these kids get up and file out of that room, down the hall to the closest exit to their meeting place outside. Now, you got a clump of them outside for one, but rarely does the shooter even wait that long. They go in, they stage themselves where they're going to fire from, and they pull the fire alarm. So now you've got teachers that are actually instructing their classes to go out in the hallway where there could be an active shooter. So Israel's got this right. Our teachers, the vast majority of them, every single one of them that's willing to, should be armed. And those that are not armed, as a condition of their employment, should be trained. Because just maybe an armed teacher gets up and stands up to a gunman and gets taken out, this other teacher better be ready to pick up the gun and go to work. But now, these teachers have to run to the door before rushing kids out into a hallway with their firearms at low ready and waiting and scanning and making sure those kids can safely leave, that it's not a setup. Because as long as we got gun-free zones, and shooting fish in a barrel, you're advertising potential crime scenes to these wackos.
And add a stat to that right there, gun-free zones, 97.3% of mass shootings all take place where? In gun-free zones. You know what I mean? So like the gun control is not working, so we need to move past that. But the thing is, I think some of these teachers and some of the school departments, and here in Rhode Island, we get the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Union is constantly shooting this stuff down because their hatred for the Second Amendment blinds the the kids are our number one priority. So they're so stubborn about attacking the Second Amendment that they'll put the kids' risk at life to keep the schools completely gun-free while leaving them as sitting ducks.
Yeah, and we got to take the dialogue back, because what they're doing now, and they do it after every time there's a shooting, is your legislators will set up these town hall meetings, and they'll usually parade in a bunch of kids or some other stakeholders to speak on behalf of those that think these horrible guns have to be taken away. And you got to point out to them, first, don't ever let them hold these town hall meetings without our people being present.
Exactly.
But when you do show up, point out, because why are you, we're here to stop killings in schools. You're here fixated on simply taking guns away. Because until we face the facts, these kids, and there's been shootings going back into the early 1800s that I've been evaluating. And the one common thing that was happening back then that is still happening now is you are seeing kids coming into school, and these were a lot of single 1 and 2 victims. These were kids that were horribly bullied. They brought a firearm to school, they concealed carry, not to go in and kill a lot of people, but just to defend themselves. These mass shootings, what is correlating with that is the increase, and this is happening at the same time when you graph these things together, it's eye-opening. But when you start seeing these mass shootings, at the same time you're seeing the introduction of pharmaceuticals into just about every aspect of your life, especially special ed. All right? You're seeing the destruction of the family. So these kids are feeling really ganged up on, not by a single bully in school, where most of these school shootings were 1 and 2 people. It was a bully getting killed by the kid that they were tormenting. These kids are now coming, they don't go home and get a secure family and get help from their family, and they feel abandoned. We have MIA dads and broken families that are almost always behind these people that are doing the shootings. They're also on medications that actually have as their side effects homicidal and suicidal thoughts. And our schools are teaching us to be victims.
And
never
the
fight
big
back. Never give the guy a black eye right back. No.
No,
We're
but
supposed to be tolerant.
They put the kids on psychotropic drugs, which makes and every mass shooter is on some kind of psychotropic drug. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah, exactly.
But we got a couple minutes.
We've got a situation that they've created this.
Exactly. So we got a few minutes left here. So if you want to give people because I know you're a talk show host too. So please, by all means, give people this the website and everything where they can watch you, because you do a great show, man, and very well educated in the Constitution and the gun rights. I mean, amazing. I mean, you've been at this even long before me, man, and God bless you, brother.
Well, I mean, we're all in this together, and we have a big rally. This is our 5th annual Flag Day Second Amendment rally out here, and we always get great speakers. This year we got Larry Pratt, Gun Owners of America, both Ammon and Ryan Bundy. They're coming up here on the heels of Jeanette Bennicum, who was our guest for the last 2 years. Well, we got the Bundy boys are coming out. Sheriff Richard Mack is going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Author Dan Wass. So we've got a great lineup of speakers, and there's even a documentary. I understand there's going to be a producer there filming a documentary, so there's a chance you might be part of history that day too. But all the information, we'd really love to get people involved. If you want your group or your business would like a table, it's $20 for this whole day event. The forms are all on the website. Tickets to this, and again, it's an all-day event from 11 to 6 at night, and it's only $25. I don't know how you can miss this. Everything's on our website, which is flagday2arally.com, and that's the number 2, flagday2arally.com. And boy, come out and don't leave an empty seat in your car. It's going to be a real doozy this year.
Absolutely.
And the idea, my open conspiracy, is I do my best to get the celebrities and the big shots out here to attract all the people. And then I get the real activists from inside the state. So I got Chris Pinto, I got Kirk Watley, Hal Shirtless. These are all guys that are hard at work the other 364 days.
Yeah, great people, man.
We are building a team to fight this stuff, Dan. So
exactly.
Hope to see you in
we definitely will, brother. I'll post the links for you. We're gonna hopefully have you back on before that too, to promote it. But I'll help promote the hell out of it, and I'm gonna try my heck to be there. I was there a few years back in 2013, I believe it was. It was amazing. Thousands of people came. It was a great time. And but thank you once again, and we'll be in touch, brother.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless you, and have a good one.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. And I wish we had more time for Mr. Kopacz. I mean, the guy, I can't say enough about him. I've known him for years now, and he does so much work. I mean, my hat's off to this man, to tell you. But coming at the end of the break here will be governor candidate for Rhode Island, who's going to dethrone the queen of hell. It's Mr. Joseph Trillo. We'll be back on 990WBOB.com. The Dan Bidondi Show. The resistance is here. All right, Texas Attorney General says in USA Today to stop school shootings, should we use Israel's approach to fighting terror? Now, I'm a person that says we shouldn't emulate any other country, and we're waiting for Mr. Trillo to call in. He's a Rhode Island governor candidate, independent. He's got a strong platform, and he's been making some headwaves. He led the whole Donald Trump movement here in Rhode Island. Thousands of people flooding to see our President Trump. It was a great time. But I approach this thing about arming the schools, to Rhode Island group pages and all that, and yet teachers coming out, I don't want to be armed. We don't want guns in our school. All right, so you don't have, here's the issue what we got on hand. Okay, we come to the fact that the schools have to be armed. It's not an option no more. Now, where the option lies upon is, should the teachers be armed? Should there be armed guards? Should we hire the military veterans to come and do this? Should we hire police, and so on and so on? But the thing is, the people who are armed, you don't advertise to the kids who the hell has guns. Only the principals will know who has guns and who doesn't. This way they can keep them staff on equivocally to have, make sure the schools are guarded at all times. So, and it's not you advertise, oh, look, I have a gun, kids, look at this. No, it's concealed. You know what I mean? So, and the teachers, yeah, they should have a right. Absolutely, I agree. If they don't want to be armed, hell, that's your right to do so. But if you want to be armed, you don't, whatever. But there should be somebody in that school, 1 or 2 or 3 people at least, that have firearms. and ready to defend the schools. And again, it's not something you advertise, it's just something you do. And the police chiefs union here in Rhode Island, we don't have the resources, we don't recommend this, and we don't have the manpower. Well, you find the sources, you find the money, you find the damn manpower, and stop being anti-gun, because most of the police chiefs here in Rhode Island, they don't speak for the police departments. I talk to cops all the time. They would love to have that, because they know they can't be everywhere. But again, the police chiefs, they love to kiss the asses of Governor Gina Raimondo to make sure they keep their jobs at that. But they love to kiss her ass to go anything against gun rights, anything at all. They're right there, bang, 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 shooting it down constantly, no pun intended. And but the thing is, here's the thing, teachers unions. Here's the things, police chiefs. Okay, who's gonna keep our kids safe? So you could put a big sign on the school that says gun-free zone. The criminals got to stay out. Oh yeah, because criminals follow laws, right? Hence why they're criminals. So Israel's approach is beautiful. So let's stop trying to be like the UK, the country we fought against, and let's stop trying to be like other countries, like Australia, where the crime rates are through the roof. And but anyway, we're going to get comments by Joseph Trillo, and Mr. Trillo is on the phone right now. It's Joseph Trillo, independent candidate for governor for the great state of Rhode Island. And how you doing, Mr. Trillo?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, great, and thank you for coming on with short notice. And yeah, but we got a big task on our hands in the state of Rhode Island. But first, introduce yourself to the people and let them know who you are, why you're running, and you're great. I know you got a great platform, so I'll give you the floor.
Sure. My name is Joseph Trillo. I was a state representative for 16 years. Served in the Rhode Island General Assembly. I was the House Minority Whip. And what happened was I decided when I was going to run for governor that at this stage of politics in the country and in Rhode Island, my best path was to run as an independent. I felt that both parties were both dysfunctional. And I certainly, having been a Republican and a strong Republican over the years, felt again that the Republican Party was dysfunctional and I needed to separate myself from party politics. To say the least about the fact that, only 12% of the population in Rhode Island are registered Republicans. Like 33% are Democrats and the rest of them are all unaffiliated. So the biggest population segment are the unaffiliated voters. So I chose to be one of them and to run as one of them as an independent. My platform is I've got so many points on the platform. I could just run through them quickly. And if you want to question me on any of them, I'd be happy to come back and talk about them.
Absolutely.
To reduce taxes, the estate tax, the sales tax, to eliminate car inspections, to make the state more business friendly, killing regulations, we're way over regulated, to rebuild our infrastructure, our local roads. They got a plan right now to rebuild the highway and the bridges, but there's no plan or money to rebuild the local roads. I want to shed the image of being a sanctuary state. Under the current administration, this state, through its actions, has basically put the welcome mat out, welcoming all the illegal immigrants that want to come here to come here. It is becoming a monumental problem. On crime, I want to untie the hands of our police, which means that we continue, the liberal left continues to try to tie the hands of the police by making all these parameters that the police have to follow. Basically, what we've done to our police right now is we've told them to put your brain in the jar and do your job according to what we, the lay people, think it should be done. Education, I want to let the teachers have more input in the schools. The schools are failing, and we keep bringing in all these geniuses to run the schools. Nobody goes back and talks to the teachers. I've done that on many occasions, and when you sit down with the teachers, believe it or not, they can come up with a lot of solutions to the problems. I want to shrink government through attrition. One of the nearest and dearest me is animal abuse. I want to strengthen the penalty on animal abuse. I think today people are getting away with murder literally and figuratively, and they're just being let off the hook for murdering and killing animals, and it's egregious. If it were me, if I were governor, I would have severe penalties for animal abuses. I also don't think the tolls on our highways are a good idea the way they're being put on right now. They're going to start off with trucks. Eventually, they're going to get to everything. They'll eventually get to cars and everything else. And the other thing, issue is to increase the security in our schools after what we're hearing has been happening all over the country. It's necessary for the kids when they go to school to feel secure. Those are some of the key points. I don't know if there's any specific point you want to pick out and have me talk about.
Yeah, right now, because, remember years ago when you run for office, the biggest questions by voters was about gay marriage and abortion and all that. Now, today, it's like about the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment's a big issue now. And unfortunately, our schools are getting shot up. And I'm glad you approached the point of helping our schools protect themselves. Just recently at the State House, the police chiefs union and the school department was shooting down any measures to protect these schools because they're so stuck on going after the gun rights that they're clouded with their judgment of protecting our children. And the thing is, we come to a point we need our protection in our schools.
This is the liberal, progressive left playbook. What they do is every time there's a shooting, they want to use it as an excuse to limit guns, limit gun use, limit who can have a gun, and basically infringe on the Second Amendment, which is a joke. It's never going to solve the problem. I don't care what gun laws we make. We are never going to curb gun use. The only people that we will ever succeed with laws of curbing gun use, and I'm even doubtful about that, would be law-abiding citizens. Certainly the criminals don't give a damn what laws we pass because
Exactly.
they're criminals. So why are we wasting our time? It's like they pass a law and they pound their chest like we just accomplished a big deal. No, you didn't, because the people that you aimed at with that law don't care that you passed it, and they're not going to adhere to it. So the most ridiculous thing we can do is keep on this path of what we need to do to secure our schools. For 40 plus years, I was in the security business. We provided electronic security in all forms all over the state in Connecticut and Massachusetts. And I came up with a lot of different suggestions of how we could put security in schools. I would look at it as a three-phase program, where today you would put metal detectors in, have the kids only go into the school through one door initially. Once they're in the school, then the door gets locked, and everybody from then on in has to be buzzed in. They have to go through a metal detector, and they would have to be on camera, and the cameras would be at all entrances, recording the activity of all entrances. Now we have another problem. The problem is we have a fire code that says you can't block fire exits. So every entrance and exit in the schools would have to be alarmed with cameras, so that if a student tried to let another student in with a gun or any reason, the alarm would trigger, you'd see who it was, you'd know what door it is, and you would have a resource officer on duty that could respond to that particular incident.
That's beautiful.
And that would be a minimal suggestion for every school, along with the fact that any teacher who wants to go through a program to learn what they need to do to carry a weapon in school, a gun, should be allowed to do so. And I certainly don't recommend we pressure teachers to carry guns. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
You only want somebody carrying a gun who's confident with the gun, who's been trained with the gun, and feels as though they know they're totally comfortable and secure with it, and they've been put through a program. You may have no teachers in any school that wants to do it. That's fine. But if you have a school where you have 2 or 3 teachers or 1 teacher that says, you know what, I've had guns in my life all my life, I've collected guns, I know how to shoot, I shoot on a regular basis, that's the kind of person that we want carrying a gun in a school.
Exactly.
So that's how I feel about the Second Amendment.
I agree 100% on that, and that's what I've been trying to propose. Because I help Frank Sicosio with the Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition. I'm there with him, supporting him all the time. And as you know, thousands of us show up to the State House to voice out compared to their 120, most of them are from other states. But thousands of Rhode Island show up to the State House to attack these gun laws. And our voices are never heard. 33-1, they voted the bump stock in. And now when we talk about the school security, just last week, the police chiefs union and the school departments were shooting it down. And I'm like, what are you guys, crazy? It's like, come on, you know. Before the right versus left crap, our kids come first. So disarming the schools is got to be like, you know, like, come on open. Our kids are sitting ducks. Let's roll out the red carpet and come shoot our kids up. And I was running some stats. 97.3% of mass shootings always occur in gun-free zones. So why can't these people accept this figure as a fact? And like, let's move on from the debate of the guns for now. Let's secure the schools and arm the schools. And like you said,
they just don't get it. I mean, it's a basic. It's to us, it's like so clear. You don't fight guns with nothing. You just don't fight guns with nothing. You don't fight them with baseball bats. You don't fight them with tasers, and you don't fight them with nothing. Now, there's a few people that have been successful because they know their life is threatened and they've attacked people with guns, but that doesn't mean that they didn't get hurt in some cases. But just imagine if you had those people armed with guns because they were confident enough and trained enough to be in the school and have a gun. To me, it just makes the most sense.
It does.
And I think that all this gun restriction law subject that keeps coming up is just the progressive left with their crazy nonsense on a narrative that we can get rid of guns. You know, these are the same people who want to welcome all the illegal immigrants into the country because they feel bad for them. They don't care whether they're criminals. They're the people who don't want to send anybody back. And, you know, you've got a progressive governor right now that's got an order to the Rhode Island State Police and to the prison. I have a copy of the order on my desk that says, under no circumstances should you ever turn over a criminal to an ICE agent, period.
Wow.
Under no circumstance.
Wow.
Think of how ridiculous of an order that is to come out of the governor's office.
Unbelievable. All to save face for her progressive left. It's unreal. And, you know, so much stuff that she's doing is destroying the state. The tolls that you were talking about earlier, something needs to stop that. And, you know, I mean, just like so many things is going on. And the inspection stickers, you're right, it's extortion. That's all it is. The inspection stickers.
No, that's all it is. I'll tell you a funny story. You know, I've been talking about this, eliminating inspections. When you look at the statistics, 31 states have eliminated them.
Yep.
And they're smart states and big states. A state like Florida, with a population of 33 million people, doesn't have any more car inspections. Why? Because the cars are safer, the cars all are computerized, and you just don't have to do it. So they've been compiling statistics for the past 10 years. And in those statistics, we've learned, number one, the insurance rates don't go up. The accident rates go up maybe 0.2 of a percentage point.
Exactly.
It's negligible.
All right, Joe, I'm sorry to cut you off. Could I hold you right there, brother? We're going to go to a break.
Sure.
I'll be right back with Governor candidate Joseph Trillo from Rhode Island. We'll be right back on the Dan Bidondi Show. Yeah, funny story. Joe's gonna laugh at this here. I got a phone call literally like about a month ago. It was Governor Gino Raimoto's campaign office. They said, basically a survey for her. So I mean, all right, I'll do the survey and answer some questions. She's like, "Would you vote for Governor Gina Raimondo?" She just as they said this, literally, and you can't make the stuff up. Just as they said this, she's fixed every pothole in the state of Rhode Island. Just as she said that, I literally ran over 2 potholes and big ones. It was like the sound of a gunshot, like boom. I thought I blew my tire out, and I told the woman, "Are you kidding me?" And I was driving through West Warwick, and there's potholes everywhere. So where do they get off to say, "Oh, look at us, we're fixing all that"? Then she takes the credit for the jobs, the economy coming up. When it was Donald Trump, our president, who is the one who made the economy better, not her. But your comments, Mr. Trillo?
Yeah, you're right. It's Donald Trump that's made the economy better. Thank God for her, but she wants to take credit for it.
Yeah.
She had nothing to do with it. The Democrats or the progressives in this state have done nothing but destroy the state. And they haven't got a clue how to raise money, make money, manage money. All they know how to do is basically, their method is take from anybody that has a few bucks and give it to those that don't. And you know, I carry a list of what they stand for. What do the progressives stand for? Let me read you some of the things. Reduce wealth income inequity. That means they want to take from the rich and give to the poor. Protecting the right to choose. To repeal voter ID. Think how stupid that is. That's one of their key platform issues. Repeal voter ID. If it were up to me, I'd make people take a test before I allow them to vote.
Yeah.
Undocumented persons. They want to welcome undocumented persons into the state. Reverse climate change crisis. Single-payer health care. Legalizing recreational marijuana. Free public college. Increase affordable housing. Improve public transportation. Gun reform legislation. And those are just some of their key points. But let me take you to the pothole subject, because that's something I know a little bit about. And what they did, I came out with a press release and said that potholes are terrible on 95 and 295. A week later, they were all filled. But here's how they filled them. They filled them by getting a truck with asphalt in it. They drive up to the hole, they throw it in, they rake it over once, and they roll it for 2 seconds, and that's it. That's not the way you fix a pothole. You can patch it temporarily so that the cars don't fall in them, and that's a temporary fix. But the way to fix a pothole is you've got to go and cut it out in a square with a saw, and then you fill it in and you make sure it's going to be at the same level as the existing road. That's the way you fill a pothole. They never do that. The other thing with our roads is it's a joke the way our roads are being repaved. They're being repaved at substandard levels. The contractors are playing with the mix.
Yep.
They're giving us a substandard mix. They're throwing in used and recycled blacktop. They're cutting back on the oil that's in the mix. And what happens is it falls apart in 2 years. So that's why you can ride on a road and say, wow, it's brand new today, like Route 4 was brand new 2 or 3 years ago. It's already cracking and splitting and falling apart. That's because it's planned to do that by the contractors.
Oh, yeah, they get more business, exactly. And there's no quality control, like nobody there to watch what they're doing. And
there's people there to watch it. The problem is the inspectors are in cahoots with the contractors that are doing the job.
Yep, exactly. And anybody,
the people, the taxpayers, are getting ripped off.
And anybody can just drive through Rhode Island.
Our roads are in such bad shape. You know, it's just what's going on in the state right now is unbelievable. Between the budget and the waste and fraud in our Health and Human Services budget is terrible. You know, the other night, about 4 weeks ago, I was out to dinner with the governor from New Hampshire, Chris Sununu, and we were talking about the budgets and comparing them. And I said, our budget is $9.5 billion. He said, my budget is $6.4 billion. He said, do you know what I could do with $3 extra billion? He said, I can't tell you. Yet his state is one of the best run, most efficient states in the country.
Exactly.
They have no income tax. I don't even think they have sales tax. It's an unbelievably run state with a minimal amount of money, with a geography that's like 4 times the size of Rhode Island, and they're able to run it on a budget $3 billion less. That's because they don't have the liberal progressives at the helm.
Exactly, and that's proof of the pudding right there. And people, if you don't believe Mr. Trillo, just drive through Rhode Island and you'll find out for yourself when you have to go to your mechanic. I don't know how much money I spent in the last 2 years on front-end work for my vehicle. You know, it's unreal because hitting potholes.
People don't realize it because they think if you have a pothole problem, you go in a real deep pothole, it basically either blows out your tire or it bends the rim. Those are severe cases of pothole problems, and we have plenty of those. But just hitting these potholes that are minimal every day, over and over with your front end, it wears out the ball joints, it wears out the shocks, it wears out the struts, and it puts the car out of alignment, which wears out the tires. It kills the balance on the tires, and you're spending extra money all the time. The problem is you don't tie it to the potholes. You just think it's the car's fault because the car needs this and it needs that, when in essence, it's the potholes that are killing your cars.
Exactly, and speaking of killing our economy, we talked about earlier, because I was here at the State House, it was like 3-4 years ago when they brought in the Syrian refugees, and basically she's painting a great story. And I'm not saying all Syrians are bad, but out of those thousands of Syrians, there's people who are tied to ISIS that are coming in that way, and it poses all kinds of danger. Meanwhile, while she's spending millions of dollars to put these people in houses on our dime, but our veterans are out in the streets, so we got about 2 minutes left. So if you want to comment on this quick and give us your website and your information where people can get a hold of you, and we're going to have you back on again as the race heats up.
Sure. This governor has done everything she can to pander, and that's what you call it.
Yep.
Pander for votes to the left. And we've got a lot of people in this state that need our Health and Human Services budget. Most of them are not even citizens. We've gone from 20% needing Health and Human Services to 30% of our population needs some form of public assistance. But if people want to get involved with my campaign, they can go to my website at trilloforgovernor.com. They can register. They can find out where I stand on a whole bunch of positions. I'm the kind of guy that never has to come back and give you and think about the answer I'm going to give you on a question. Ask me the question, and I will give you my interpretation of what I think should be done. Now, does everybody agree with me? No. But I'm not going to go out and check which way the wind is blowing before I tell you where I stand on a given issue.
Exactly. And thank you so much, Mr. Trillo, and God bless you for all the work you've done, too, with the Trump campaign as well. And
all right.
Take care, brother. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was Joseph Trillo for Rhode Island, governor here for the state of Rhode Island, and he's independent. And before we go, this state, and along with Massachusetts, all of the country really is in trouble. And if you look at it, and again, it's all related to issues today. Like, I've been involved with campaign politics since I was a kid. We helped so many people in politics. And before, the biggest issue was gay marriage. The biggest issue was abortion. Now it's to do with the guns. You know what I mean? And the progressive left, they have literally destroyed the Democratic Party. Literally. And real Democrats can't stand the progressives, if you want to know the truth on that. And but independent's the best way to go, because most people are independent, and because independent you can read. There are some good stuff the Democrats oppose, absolutely. There's great stuff that the Republicans oppose, absolutely. But there's corruption on both sides, we know that. And that's why independent, I think is great. I think Joe Trillo did the best thing, is going independent, because where you can reach out to everybody. You know what I mean? And the progressive left, okay, they are the enemies of humanity, the enemies of a free state. They openly call, we want your guns. Oh, we're not taking a Second Amendment, but every year we're going to slowly pick away at it until we get it. Slowly pick away. That's why the governor's not calling right now. She wants the semi-automatics ban, high-capacity magazines, but they're waiting because she's hoping to win another election. And if these people win, folks, there goes our gun rights, because they don't listen to us. And but we need to fight against them, vote for Joe Trillo and all these good candidates in November. The blue wave needs to be crushed by the November storm. Anyways, Dan Bidondi for The Dan Bidondi Show on 990wbob.com. Check me out at Twitter at Dan Bidondi, and of course, TruthRadioShow.com. And remember, you are the resistance.